Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Caleb with DevSlopes.com, and in this video, we're going to be talking about extensions in Swift. Now, extensions are amazing because they allow you to add functionality to an existing class, a structure, an enumeration, or even a protocol. Okay, there's lots of different things we can do to extend the capabilities of certain classes, either classes that have already been created by iOS or even classes we create ourselves. Now, this video is going to be an introduction. We're going to be using a playground, and I want to show you a few cool things you can do with extensions. And then in the next video, we're actually going to build a very, very simple app to show you how extensions could be useful to you as a developer. So let's go ahead and let's pull open Xcode, and let's go ahead and get started with the new playground. So click that button, and of course, it's going to pop open on the wrong window. There we go. All right, click blank, and let's call this extensions fun time. Yeah, no, let's just do extensions fun time. Okay, click create, and we get ourselves a nice little playground to play in. So let's go ahead and let's do that. So first of all, I'm going to show you the syntax for an extension. And to do that, I'm going to get rid of that and get rid of this silly comment at the top we don't need. And so let's begin. To create an extension, what we need to do is we need to type extension. Okay, believe it or not. And an extension, like I said, allows us to extend an existing class, a structure, a protocol, or an enumeration. So what we're going to do is to create an extension, we're going to extend, think of like you're going to extend a certain class. So let's think of a class in Swift. How about integers? Okay, so extension int. We're going to extend the int subclass. Okay, and you set it up just like you would a class or a function. You put a set of curly brackets, and that's where all of the important information goes inside. So that's how an extension is made. Now, what if you had created your own class, like class my class? Okay, you can also extend your own custom classes and make your own extensions, and inside is where all the functionality is going to go. Okay, whoops, functionality. Okay, so we're going to add some functions and lots of cool stuff to extend the capabilities of a certain class. Okay, now some of the things that extensions are able to do are they're able to add computed properties and computed type properties. They're able to define instance and type methods. They're actually able to provide new initializers. So if you think about when you create something with an initializer like a CG-rect, okay, you have lots of different ways to initialize it. That's just something you can do with extensions. Pretty cool. You can also define and use subscripts as well as nested types, which is pretty cool. And you're also able to make an existing type conform to a certain protocol. So lots of different things you can do with extensions. And so now let's go ahead and let's take a look at just one way we could extend an existing Swift class. So let's go ahead, let's make an extension of string. So type extension string. And what we're going to do is we are going to build our own function that's going to be able to reverse a string. Okay, now there already is one. I know that. But the interesting thing is, I'll show you the difference later. There is a difference. And we're going to basically write a function that will return the exact opposite of a string that we give it. So inside of the string extension, go ahead and type func reverse. And you notice that pops up there, reverse. There are the two functions that already exist within the string class, reversed, and it returns an array of character, and reversed, and it returns a reversed collection of type string. So those are the ones that already exist, but we're going to write our own simply called reverse. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to think of extension string here. Think of this as something that can be applied to any type of string. So inside of the extension, let's say that we applied this function to a string that we've created. Inside the function, we can just call it self, okay? Because this extension is referring to whatever instance of string this function is called upon. So we're going to be referring to self to refer to the string that this extension is connecting to. So let's go ahead and let's write this function out. Oh, you know what? We need to actually return a string at the end, right? Because we need the reversed string at the end. So let's go ahead and create an array of characters. So go ahead and type var character array. And that's going to be equal to an array of character, like I said. And let's just instantiate it for now. Now what we're going to do is we're basically going to parse through, and for every character in the string we've passed in, we're going to go ahead and insert it into our character array at index 0, so that every single time a new character is added, it's added to the front, and so therefore we will reverse the entire string as we pass through all the characters. So go ahead and type for character in, remember, we're referring to self because that's the instance of the string. Self dot characters. We're going to parse through the array of characters that's already built into a string. For character in self dot characters. Whoops. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and type character array, and we're going to go ahead and call insert new element at int, and that's like kind of like the index path of an array. So we're going to pass it in. Oh, actually, it is the index path of an array because that's what we're dealing with. We're going to insert whatever character we get through at index 0, so that every single new one is going to be passed in at 0, and it'll bump all the rest of the letters down. So the first character comes in, and it's at index 0. The next one comes in, and now it's at index 0. The next one comes in. They all start to move down until the whole string is reversed. At the very end, what we're going to do is we're going to return the character array. But remember, it's an array of characters. We need a string. So what we can do, check this out, we can call string. And when we instantiate a string, if you scroll down, you can make a string from a sequence of characters. So select characters, and we can pass in the character array because that's a sequence of characters. Pretty cool, right? So this is one function now that is in our string extension. I want to show you how to use it now, though. It's really, really cool. So what I'm going to do to show you this is I'm going to create a string. Let's just do var name, and I'm going to say Marty McFly. Okay, and of course you can tell that that's a string. Now what I can do is, because the variable name is of type string, I can call name.reverse. Now be careful, don't choose the top two, but look, reverse without the D, that's our function. Anything that is a string, we can call reverse on. And check out what happens when we call it. Look at the printout here. We get a reversal of Marty McFly. The string is reversed. It's really, really cool. Now, just to show you that this is only applicable to strings, I'm going to create an integer like 12. And if I try to call reverse on this integer, it's not going to work because we only extended the string class, not the integer class. So therefore, it doesn't work. That is one way you can extend string, with a cool function that reverses any string that you attach that function to. Really, really cool. Now we're going to go ahead and create an extension of int. So let's do that down here below. Let's give you some space here so you can see. Okay, this looks good. All right, so go ahead and type extension int, just like we did with the string, and we're going to write a function that's going to basically allow us to square any value that we give it. So go ahead and type func square, and inside of this function we're going to just go ahead and type self times self, because that's what something squared is, the value of it multiplied by that value. Now of course, in order for this to actually do something, we need to return a value of int, so that we can actually use this on an integer. And of course, since we need to return, we'll just return self times self. So there's our extension. That's cool, but let's go use it. What we can do is we can say var value equals 9. And now what I can do, just like with the string, is I can call value dot square. And watch what happens when we print out in the terminal here. You can see it prints out 81. It squared our value. And that's really cool. But one of the most interesting things about extensions is that you're able to use what are called mutating functions. And a mutating function is basically a function that is going to actually modify the value of the variable that it's called on. So right now, var value equals 9. Okay, value is equal to 9. We call value.square, and what it does is it takes the value of our variable here, multiplies it by itself, and this right here, value.square, is currently equal to 81. But watch what happens if I print out value. Even below the function, you'll notice it still comes back as 9. That's because we have not mutated the original value. We're going to do that now with a mutating function, and that's something really cool about extensions, is it's going to allow you to mutate a certain function. Okay, and to do that, we're going to make a function that's going to return the area of a circle. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's extend double. Okay, because we need some decimal places here, because if you know, the function to determine the area of a circle is pi r squared, right? We're going to take the radius of the circle, square it, and then multiply it by pi. So go ahead and call extension double, and we're using double, again, because we need numbers after the decimal point. And we're going to go ahead and write our area function here. So go ahead and type func area, or you know what, how about calculate area? That's a little more descriptive. And let's create a constant to hold the value of pi. So type let pi equals 3.1415. That's close enough. You know, it's not exact, but it's pretty good. And what we can do is we can say self is equal to pi times self times self. Okay? So we have r squared, right? The radius squared, self times self, and then we're multiplying that by pi. Now, we're getting an error, and you can tell it says self is immutable. And if you think back to our string extension, we basically called name, and then we called name.reverse. Now, what we did is we took our name, we printed it, and then we took the value of the name, and we reversed it, kind of making this like a temporary variable. We did the same thing with value.square, but what we want to do is we actually want to modify the value of the variable. So to do that, we just need to add a keyword at the beginning of this function, mutating. And if you look at the little description here of mutating, I don't know if it'll let me. Oh, it won't. But basically, a mutating function allows that function to modify the value of whatever variable it's called upon. So let's go ahead, let's try this out. I want to show you how it works. And to do that, I'm actually going to create a quick little class here for a circle that's going to have a radius property. So just really quickly, type class circle, set a variable of radius, and make that a double. Then let's create an initializer with a property of radius of type double. Set self.radius to be equal to radius. Okay, sorry, that was really quick, but it's not super duper important. I just want to make sure that you saw what I did there. So we have our mutating function for calculate area. We have a class to make a circle. Let's make a circle. So type var circle, circle equals circle. And we're going to give it a radius value. So let's think. How about 3.3? Okay, so there's our radius, 3.3. And what we're able to do is we can print out circle.radius, and watch what we get printed out. 3.3, just like you would expect, right? And let me pull this up here so you can see it. There we go. So we get 3.3, which is the radius we've passed in. So if I want to calculate the area of my circle, I can call circle.radius, and watch what I can do. I can call my mutating function here, calculate area, and you'll see in a second it'll pop up. Oh, there we go, calculate area, cool. So once this runs, you'll see that it prints out the area of the circle, 34.210935, whatever it is. Now, you're probably thinking, how is this different at all from what we just did? Let me show you. Up here, when we called square on our value of 9, what it did was it created a temporary variable holding 81, which is the square value for 9. But if we print out value again, you'll see that the original value of the variable value is still 9. Okay, like that, it prints out. Now, what we can do, though, is with our mutating function, we're actually able to change the value of the variable upon which this is called. So watch what happens if I print out circle.radius now. Check out what prints out. 34.210935. That's the variable that we just changed. Okay, we used our mutating function to allow us to modify the variable. It's really cool. And there are plenty of use cases for this, but guys, this is just kind of a brief introduction to extensions, some of the things you can do. Now, in the next video, I'm actually going to show you some cool things you can do in Interface Builder in iOS with actual things you might use in a real app. Okay, super duper cool. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and let's head over to part 2 right now.